mouth anyway.
Yep.
Grew up with 10 kids in the family, so we could carry on conversations from the third floor all the way up to the basement. So
We had a loud house, but there were only two of us. We were just very, yeah, they're both going. Our director.
I'm doing that so I can try and sync up the audio. That's all.
okay.
He's the editor of everything because I don't know how to do it.
I'm learning.
He's a novice.
It's on. So.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right. So we're here with Tony Martin, and Tony reached out to us because she had a wall completed, and she's just very apprehensive about figuring out if it's right or wrong, and she wants to replace her driveway and wants to make sure that the wall's taken care of first properly, because once you have that new driveway, that's going to really do some damage if you don't have, or if you have to redo the wall after that.
Yes, absolutely. So this wall, I thought when it was finished, it was looks like a good wall. But then other people coming here, and the main attraction was when my roofer came for my annual inspection, and he said, "How long ago have you had this done?" I said, "Oh, it's only been done like a week." And he said, "Well, you need to have somebody come out and take a look at this," because he said, "I do walls myself, but only for my own house." And he said, "But there are some things that are really radar that you should have somebody come out and take a look." So as I started to inspect it, and then just driving around, if I went to Home Depot, I see their wall, that's a retainer wall. And I said, that doesn't have any spaces on it. I have spaces through here. And then the top caps are not together. They're not meshed together. They're not glued. They're hanging over far on the edge. And they're not attached, so that if somebody would put like a planter on them, something would fall off. So I started and called Rolling Hills. I went to the Better Business Bureau and looked up a company, and I found Amanda's company. And I called her and asked her, please, I said, I'm so nervous about my wall. I said, I want to pave my driveway before fall, and I'm so concerned about the security and safety of the wall. And I started, I took a video of it. She said, well, send me a video. She responded right away, and I was so impressed with the 28-minute video she sent me of things that were in the contract that I had forwarded to her from the person who did this, and then said that these are the things that she could just see without further inspection. So I was impressed with that. She came out and took a look, and then I had another company come and also take a look and wrote down things that were not done, like the lime base is not put down. There's marble there, a $2 or $4 bag of marble on the ground, and the wall is sinking here in the middle. Here, as you can see, it's only 4 weeks old, and it's dipping in the middle. You put a leveler on there, it's not level at all, and it shouldn't be doing that. As a novice, I'm in the IT profession. And I'm mad at myself for not doing all of my due diligence that I should have done. But you do your due diligence in doing some of the research, but you don't know what the standards are. And I didn't look up what the standards were, and that's where I got caught. So when you look at a contract and you sign a contract, know what you're signing, and understand, more importantly, what you're signing. And make sure you look up and get a company that is reputable with the Better Business Bureau, like Rolling Hills Landscaping is, and understand, just not only just the design of the wall, but the components, the product, what the base should be, how deep it should be. I think when we pull this up, there's not even going to be any limestone on there. And so I've asked this company, as they're demolishing it, to write down what they're seeing. The gentleman who did this wall, he put in a fake French drain. I don't even know what a French drain looks like. And I didn't do my research to know what a French drain looks like and what the purpose of. But he just put a 50-cent cap on the end of that, and a water hose, a blue water hose, and that's not a French drain. And it's very disturbing when you have to go through this. It's painful. I cried for 3 solid days. I drank a little bit more wine than I probably should have. But I just, and it's still bitter to me. I still get tears in my eyes just thinking about what I'm going through. Not only just the monetary loss, but just the excitement of getting the wall done. I saved for 4 years to get this wall done. and it's not happening. So it's just very frustrating. And I trust this company completely, Rolling Hills Landscaping, to correct this situation. And I can't wait to see this torn down so I can get this anguish out of my system. But you have to report when something doesn't go right. I'm reporting him to the Attorney General. I filed a report with the magistrate. I filed a report with the Better Business Bureau, and I am filing a police report today. So there are people on the Nextdoor app that said, oh, he did this to me too. He did this to me too. I filed a report. I have a detective going after him. I'm not going to stop until he doesn't do this to anybody else. There was somebody else in Nextdoor that was chatting and said he just gave him a deposit and he was supposed to get the product delivered on Monday, and the product didn't come. And I told him, I said, once he delivers that product, you gave him the deposit, that's your product. That's what you paid for. Don't hire him to do the job because he's not going to do it right. He doesn't know what he's doing on this. There's spaces all through here. The ugliness of the corner here, that it looks like two separate walls. I'm a novice. I didn't know this, what to look for and all that. But now that I see my wall constructed and it's constructed wrong, I have like high visibility radar looking at other walls when I'm driving in the car with my husband, and we're looking at other people's walls just from the car, and we're not seeing those things in their walls that we see in this wall. So it's very disturbing. And when I called him out on it, I just asked him to give me 50% back because he did take down the rock wall here. It was a day and a half. He was tearing out all that thick rock, and I repurposed it and put it over there. And pay for the product. I was trying to be fair and only getting 50% back, and he said he doesn't have the money. He's no intentions to pay me back. So I'm going every legal avenue that I can to go after him and to make sure that he doesn't do this to anybody else. And it seems women are the main ones on Nextdoor that he has done this to. And a lot of times people think that women are naive about doing some things that, maybe men typically do. But I didn't have all the knowledge that I have now. And he's taken advantage of a lot of people. So, buyer beware always. And know that when something needs to be done, do your research, understand the contract that you're signing for, get 3-4 estimates, and see what the ballpark is between your low and your high, and get the average. Sometimes you pay for what you get. And I just want this to go away. But I'm letting it go away by tearing it down. But I'm still going to fight the fight that I need to do so that he doesn't keep getting away with this and continuing to do this to other people.
I think you're being very hard on yourself.
I think so too.
There's not a lot of information, a lot of sound information out there. YouTube, I do this for a living, and I'm astonished by how much bad information is out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have a guy that doesn't quite know what he's doing, and he's watching videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's getting more bad information, so he's not. I'm not saying that's your situation, but that's unfortunately what happens is people don't know. They don't know where to turn.
Yes.
There is a sanctioning body. It's CMHA now. It was formerly the NCMA, but they haven't, in my opinion, they haven't done a good enough job of getting the word out. The suppliers of the block, I blame them personally. I think that they haven't done a good enough job of getting the word out to what proper installation should be.
Yes.
The vendors or the manufacturers of the block and the suppliers, I've gotten bad information years ago from both, and it's not good, and there's a lot of people that are cutting corners, and so yeah, you definitely have to pay attention, but how do you pay attention? And that's what we're trying to help with. We don't want your story to happen anymore, and it's unfortunate that it happens so often. And it just, we get these calls consistently, and it's just,
it's heartbreaking. It really is.
It is.
Like, I don't want you to have to suffer through that. I don't want to see you crying about it.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
I cried for like a week. But
there's a group online that I participate in of hardscapers, and there are everyone from seasoned professional to people who are just starting out. And so many questions come up with how to install work, how to price work. Many guys don't know, and they don't even know where to turn. So
Yeah.
to John's point, the CMHA, they have specs, but there's nobody that's calling anyone out to make sure that those specs are followed.
Yes.
Your local building inspector probably doesn't know. There's no certification that you have to have. There's optional. John has it because he wanted to learn and continue and make sure he's doing right by everybody.
Yes.
But there are a lot of guys that are just, they learned from another guy that they know, and they assume he has the knowledge. And so if you don't know what's right versus wrong, and you have someone you trust, you said
Yes.
you got a recommendation from
Yes.
another homeowner, so that should go a long way. That I count that as something that you should be able to use as part of your vetting process. Someone you actually know, not just like a online
Yes.
forum or something.
Yes.
So yeah, it's if the guys who are installing it don't know, how in the world would anyone expect homeowners to know?
Mm-hmm. And then you're right, there is a lot of information out there that you can read, and it's wrong information. Even the YouTube videos out there, it's wrong information. But if you start to look at those and then Google and then compare that kind of information, and then like I wish I would have known to even ask for information like that at the barn or any other distributor of the product, so that you have some baseline of information so that you can go by, and when you sign the contract, you know what you're signing. So referrals are good, but you have to look and see who's giving you the referral. And then it could be a relative that is, recommending somebody on Nextdoor, and they're just putting rave reviews out for that person, and it may not have been. And then pictures that, people show, it may be pictures that they found online and not some of the work that they did. So there's like buyer beware and cautionary efforts that you have to abide by, and so you don't get in a trap like I did. So I am disappointed in myself. I'm embarrassed by it, and it was really hard for me to even put my situation out on Nextdoor because people think, well, how could that happen to somebody? It happens to a lot of people, and you don't want that to happen to you. And you work hard for your money. You work hard to try to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You want to come home and see a pretty wall, a pretty yard, and it's just that when these things happen, they're just so disturbing. And I let my blood pressure get high for 2 days thinking about this, and so upset with myself and disappointed with myself. But I'm looking at it on the positive side, that this happened for a reason. And even this video, if it can help another soul so that they don't experience something that I've done, and get reputable companies. If they can afford a website, it's a good company probably. Do your research on that. Look at, this company has their own equipment with their labels on it. This guy rented a Dingo machine. So I'm just saying those are things that factored in, that that the investment is there in the company, and they're going to do a good job. So I can't wait for this to be demolished and my new wall come up, and then I'm just going to feel good sitting out and enjoying this yard again.
Alleviate a lot of stress. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Alleviate a lot of stress and a lot of anguish. Anything I can do to help others learn, feel free to call me. I'm willing to tell my story to anyone. I did call WTAE, so I am going to get interviewed. And I have a friend that's a reporter, so that helps. But but I'm going to get the word out there, and I'll get approval from Amanda if I can mention her company's name. So that could be part of the news report, and they'll air it, for a day, 3 times a day, noon and 6, and also 11 p.m., and maybe the next day too. But then I want to follow up when my wall is done so they could see the new wall the way it should have been done right the first time. So buyer beware, do your homework, and call for references, go look at the work, and research the companies a lot. on every channel that you can. Research it on Nextdoor app, Home Advisor, Angie's List, Better Business Bureau. See if there's any lawsuits that they have on the docket. Just do your research now, and I've learned the hard way. But if I can do anything that can help somebody else out, I'm willing to do it.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
I really appreciate this.
Yes, thank you so much.
I think this is going to help a lot of people.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. And you won't have to be crying like I just did on TV.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's heartbreaking. You work hard for your money, and you want it to be enjoyed and not wasted, and have a con man take advantage of you. And that's what happened to me.
It's quite common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too, to your point, where you read about it, how many times does it happen that you don't read about it because of the embarrassment and
Yes.
shame, that people just want to put it behind them and move on?
Yes, yes. But when I put my story out there yesterday in Nextdoor, it was yesterday evening, and there's already been like 33 comments on it, and people are saying
Wow.
he did the same thing to me, or I just hired him. And one person had him do 5 walls, and they all fell down within a year.
Oh, jeez.
So collapsed, and so she had to pay somebody to rebuild them, and she's working with a detective to go after him as well. And it's just disheartening to have to go through this. Nobody should have to go through this, and there needs to be some laws in place to make sure that they're protecting the consumer. So hopefully my consumer attorney general Fowling will do something, because I've mentioned the other people on Nextdoor who also were deceived by him, and hopefully that there will be some criminal action. And I was told to change my civil suit to a criminal suit. So that's what I'm going to do with the magistrate. So I have to go and take care of that today.
Okay.
Make
Thank you so much for sharing.
You're
I know
welcome.
how hard that must be. Yeah.
It is, but I am a glass half full type person when it isn't full all the way. But this is going to come down and be beautiful, and I'm going to just love it. I just told all my siblings today, and I've been dealing with this for 4 weeks, and I just told them all today because I've just been so angry with myself.
I don't think you should be.
I don't.
I
Not
really
at
don't.
all.
Yeah.
This happens. We've had bad contracting experiences.
Ourselves.
We've hired people that
Hmm.
had a good reputation, and it's unfortunate. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is. Especially something that's expensive.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
with this, you don't need any. We don't require any knowledge to do this. There's absolutely nothing. There's infinitely more certifications that a hairdresser has to go through
Hmm.
Yes.
than what we have to go through.
Yeah.
Literally, I need no training to do this. To do a retaining wall. I do
Wow.
not need any training
Just
whatsoever.
wake up today and say, I'm going to build walls, and
Yep.
just go out and do it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And if it's below 4 foot, a lot of places don't even require a permit, and so no one's ever going to come out and check this, and it's
Even the
unfortunate.
inspectors that check, he's had to school some of the inspectors because they didn't even
They don't
really
quite 'cause
understand.
they're used to working in with the plumbing and the electrical.
Yeah.
They understand those codes, but they don't. It just the retaining walls is the Wild West, and it's yeah. We're trying to change it, but yeah, hopefully this will help.
one story at a time. Yeah.
Yep. Well, maybe with a lot of these lawsuits that are happening, our government will wake up and maybe put some type of, you don't want everything to have laws binding everything, but at least something to protect the consumer so that they don't have to go through what I went through and so many other people who were deceived by the same guy that are telling their same stories and thanking me for telling my story and sharing my experience. I mean, so many of those comments said, thank you for sharing this. I know it was hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard because you don't want to broadcast your failures, but you want to celebrate your successes. And when things go wrong, it's hard to like just share that with people, you know? And you're embarrassed about it. Like you said, you're embarrassed about it. And I am embarrassed about it. But I'm moving on. I'm going to have a beautiful wall put on by Rolling Hills Landscaping, and I can't wait to see it. And may the weather gods, support us and get so that it doesn't interfere with the timeline. But I don't know. It rained like cats and dogs this morning. But
Yeah. Sometimes it depends on what part of the project we're at as to how much the weather affects it. But
yeah.
yeah, we'll see how that plays out. So, okay. Well, we'll get into getting everything torn out and tell you what we find back there and
Yes.
report back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Appreciate it.
Good.
Sorry for the tears. I got
Oh,
emotional.
it's
But it's real.
powerful.
It's real. So somebody else can see me, and this is like